This is an open letter from you and me together. Tomorrow's in our hands now.
Find the words that matter, say them out loud. I'll make it better somehow.
Looking down from up on the moon, it's a tiny blue marble. Who'd have thought the ground we stand on
Could be so fragile.
This is a love song to the earth. You're no ordinary world. A diamond in the universe. Heaven's poetry to us. Keep it higher. Keep it higher. Keep it higher. 'Cause it's our way. It's not about possessions, money or religion. How many years it might live.
When the only real question that matters is still a matter of perspective. Looking down from up on the moon, you're a tiny blue marble.
Who'd have thought the ground we stand on
Could be so fragile. This is a love song to the earth. You're no ordinary world.
diamond in the universe. Heaven's poetry to us. Keep it safe. Keep it safe. Keep it safe.
Keep my mind safe.
It's our world.
Bang, 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 bang. Tell my mind is in a crazy mess. It's time for us to do our best. From deep sea straight back to Everest. She under crazy stress unless you wanna be motherless. Green heart is the way I dress. Speediness and too much greediness. 6 billion people are one blessedness. Some people think this is harmless. But if we continue, then loneliness and emptiness.
No, 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 no. This is a love song to the earth. You're no ordinary world. A diamond in the universe. Heaven's poetry to us. Keep it safe. Keep it safe.
Special paradise.
Keep it safe. This is a love song to the earth. You're no ordinary world. Diamond in the universe. Heaven's poetry to us. Keep it safe. Keep it It's our world.
It's our
World. 'Cause it's our world.
Please keep it safe.
Good morning. Together on this 50th anniversary of Earth Day, we call ourselves to worship with the words of Langston Hughes. It's an Earth song, and I've been waiting long for an Earth song. It's a spring song. I've been waiting long for a spring song. Strong as the bursting of young buds, strong as the shoot of a new plant, strong as the coming of a first child, a spring. And I've been waiting long for an Earth song.
Good morning. For those of you I haven't met, my name is Karma, and I'm honored to serve as the minister of the Unitarian Universalists of Central Delaware. We're so happy that you're here with us for our worship this morning, especially in this time of social and physical distancing. We're grateful for this opportunity to utilize technology so that we can come together. And we affirm and celebrate that we remain a connected, vibrant spiritual community, even when we cannot gather together in our home sanctuary at Congregation Beth Shalom in Dover. Because we are in the strange new world of online worship, we want to offer a few technical notes, especially for those of you who may be new to the Zoom format. We're going to be doing our best to keep things as close to our regular order of worship as possible. And we'll make some adaptations each time we gather because we're learning. All of us together are learning. We will, I want to assure you, 100% today make some mistakes, but we'll do our best and rely upon your grace and understanding. We do want to encourage you to utilize the chat window throughout the service as one way that you can really participate in this time of worship. You can enable the chat window if you're on a laptop by clicking on the chat icon in the Zoom menu at the very bottom of the screen. If you're on a tablet or a phone, I think that functions a little bit differently and might be a little more difficult. But the main point is we want to invite you to fully engage in all the ways you can to make your and our worship experience richer. So you won't be interrupting at all. Just continue to chat as you feel moved. As you saw, the microphones are muted for the majority of our time together to cut down on background noises. But when there is time for community sharing, both in worship and after, we'll invite you to unmute yourself, and the mute toggle switch is in the bottom left-hand corner of your Zoom screen. And we do want to invite you to stay after we've concluded worship for a virtual coffee hour when all of you can use voice and video. Switch to your gallery view, which is you can do in the upper right-hand corner of your Zoom screen, and enjoy your preferred refreshment at home while chatting with friends or meeting new people even this morning. So let's all take a deep breath in our own environments right now, and let me welcome you again to this time of worship. Whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you've been, whatever you've done, whatever your religious beliefs are or aren't, and wherever you physically are on the planet right now, you are welcome here in this spiritual community. We are all enhanced by being together.
Our chalice lighting this morning is a prayer for peace for Earth Day by UU Minister Reverend Mary Catherine Moore. May ours be a prayer for peace, peace within ourselves, peace with our loved ones, peace with strangers, and peace with our planet. May we learn to recognize the beauty within ourselves, the spark of holy light that enlivens all beings. May we bring generosity of spirit to those whom we know best, resisting the urge to expect them to tolerate our thoughtlessness. May we recognize our connection with everyone we meet, seeing the holy light in their eyes. May we walk gently on the earth with reverence for all life. May we turn to be instruments of peace, bringing the message that has rung true in all faiths, in all times, that there is another way. There is a way of peace, and we are called to the way of peace. Blessed be, amen. We kindle this light of this, we kindle the light of this chalice. And let me light it first. We kindle the light of this chalice, the symbol that connects us with Unitarian Universalists everywhere, as a sign of our quest for truth and our commitment to peace for ourselves and our planet.
Our opening song this morning is from Peter Mayer, who is a very popular singer in Unitarian Universalist circles and elsewhere. And he gave us permission to use this video. It's the song Blue Boat Home. And he says on behalf of him that he wishes us the best Earth Day celebration. So this is from Pete. And as they say, sing out, Louise. Your microphones are muted. Please sing out loud in your own environments. The lyrics will be on the screen.
Though below me I feel no more,
standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean. Still my dry land heart can say, I've been sailing all my life now. Never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. Sun, my sail, and moon, my rudder, as I ply the starry sea, leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep, drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way by the lights of the heavens in our beautiful blue boat home. I give thanks to the waves upholding me, hail the great winds urging me on, greet the infinite sea before me, sing the sky my sailor's song. I was born upon the fathoms, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home.
If you'll join me, we'll say together our affirmation, which we speak every Sunday that we gather. And I'm going to paste it here in the chat window so that you all can say it along with me, if you would. Love is the spirit of this church, and service its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. For our story for all ages this morning, we're going to have a read aloud book. So if you have kids, bring them near to the screen and let's listen to this story, Earth Day, Every Day, together.
Day Every Day by Lisa Bullard, illustrated by Sao Sin. Chapter 1. What a mess! My name's Trina. I'm an Earthling. I live here on planet Earth. So do trees and bees and manatees. Unless you're from Mars, you're an Earthling too. People don't always take good care of our Earth home. We do things that hurt the Earth. We make the air dirty. We throw away too much. We waste power. Mom says people should clean up their own messes. Earthlings made this earth mess, so we Earthlings should fix it. It's a job for everyone. Chapter 2, Miss Big Mouth. My brother calls me Miss Big Mouth, so I used my big mouth to help the earth. Last week, I asked everyone I know to plan something for Earth Day. Today was finally the big day. Earth Day happens once a year on April 22nd. On that day, people everywhere remember to help the Earth. Earth Day also reminds us to take care of Earth all year long. My teacher taught my class how to plant trees. Everyone got to help. Someday our trees will grow to be much taller than we are. They'll make good homes for birds. You can also plant special gardens to feed bees and butterflies. And trees and plants aren't just helpful to animals. They also clean the air we all breathe. My friends formed an Earth Day club. We had our first meeting at lunch. Earth's problems mean problems for animals too. Even my favorite, tigers, are having trouble. So our club decided to save money to help animals. People have formed many groups to help animals in trouble. The groups find ways to protect animals and the places they live. They study the animals to figure out new ways to help them. You can learn more about these groups on the internet. Ask your teacher or a parent to help you look. Chapter 3, My Family's Earth Day. My family and neighbors had an Earth Day trade. Everybody brought stuff they don't need anymore. We traded for things we want. Mom wouldn't let me trade my brother, so I traded an old puzzle for a soccer ball. It's better for the earth when we reuse old things. Reuse means to use something again. Then it doesn't end up in the trash. You also don't need to buy new things. Trading and reusing helps the earth. Now my family is having a special Earth night. We turned off the TV and the computer. That way we don't use as much power. Instead, we're playing board games. My dog Daisy and I are winning. Using power can make the air dirty, so turn off lights and machines whenever you can. Play outside instead of playing video games. Saving power helps save the earth. Maybe you can use your big mouth too. Together we can talk to everyone about helping the earth. We'll ask people to make it Earth Day every day. Then we can all find other ways to save the earth tomorrow.
Hi. For our UU moment, Reverend Karma asked me to look at the website for Unitarian Universalist Ministry for the Earth. Their mission is to inspire, facilitate, and support practices that honor and sustain the earth and all beings. UU Ministry for Earth has 6 broad issue areas: climate change, ecology and rights of nature, frontline solidarity, food justice, social justice and human rights, and sustainability. Within each issue area, the website provides links to other relevant agencies and articles. For people interested in learning more about an issue, the Resources tabs list trainings, webinars, podcasts, books, and study guides. If our congregation desires to develop a small study group or a Sunday service on a topic, the website offers inspiration and worship resources. It lists study guides for children and multi-generational groups, action kits, and recommended films. This website is a wealth of information for any of us interested in honoring Earth Day. I'd like to share 2 recent actions taken by UU Ministry for Earth that are related to the COVID-19 crisis. First, UU Ministry for Earth joined with over 100 climate, environmental, social justice, and worker rights groups, urging Congress to reject fossil fuel industry's wish lists, which included tax breaks, payments to fossil fuel corporations rather than their workers, and waivers or suspensions of the environmental health and safety laws. The letter demanded Congress to focus on relief legislation for the workers, including health care and wage replacement. And the second action, again, UU Ministry for Earth joined more than 200 human rights, environmental, public health, and worker rights groups signing a letter requesting Florida's governor immediately take necessary steps to protect Florida's vulnerable community of 25,000 migrant farm workers by providing testing, protective equipment, and a field hospital. The letter noted, if nothing is done, the virus will carve through the state's agricultural workforce like wildfire, and in a matter of weeks, Florida will not have enough workers to harvest our crops, and without farm workers, there is no food. In closing, thanks to Karma, I'm now familiar with UU Ministry for Earth. In celebration of Earth Day, I've joined their email list. I'll be receiving a monthly email that shares one story for inspiration, one call to action, one tool for education, and one opportunity for connection. Sign up is easy. You go to their website, which I see Karma's put on already for us, www.uumfe.org. Thanks, everyone.
A central part of our worship is the opportunity we have to practice the art of generosity. Our generous gifts to UUCD are what allow this congregation to thrive and provide us and those yet to find us with a liberal, inclusive, and accepting context in which to nurture our spirits, build community, and change the world. Sound familiar? We are grateful to you for the myriad ways you support our community, including your giving. Because of you, our congregation was recently able to provide virtual space for our community to meet weekly for a much needed time of connection in this time of isolation and fear. Give our children a weekly connection with their peers. This week, a virtual talent show. Support our Social and Environmental Justice Committee and their work to provide a meal every month to the Dover Interfaith Men's Shelter. During this time, they did so in cooperation with My Roma Pizza to deliver good food in the safest way possible and to gather together for worship, to remind ourselves of our highest values and encourage one another as we seek to live them out. Now, let me tell you why I give. I have come to believe that I need community in order to thrive. I really believe that humans evolved in community and that most of us benefit most if we have a community as a touchstone. In community, I can try out my ideas, listen to others different from me, but who I respect, give and get support, and have a sympathetic audience for my creative endeavors, doing a service, being a worship associate, singing, or playing music. I would feel much more isolated without this support. As a result, I do a lot within our community, and I give what to me is a fairly significant amount of money. But I feel I get a great deal back, even with the occasional frustrations that occur in community life, or if the task I volunteered for occasionally feels like a burden. I originally joined the UU Church in Kent, Ohio, to provide religious education for my son and a community for the two of us. I am so glad that I did. This denomination has provided a great opportunity for me to grow personally and spiritually over the last 30-some years. I hope that it may do the same for you. You may continue, thank you for all of the ways in which you support UUCD. You may continue to write your checks and mail them to UUCD, Post Office Box 1454, Dover, Delaware, 19903. Or you can take advantage of a new opportunity to give online by visiting our website at uuc.org and clicking the tab support, support UUSD, and go to the donate icon on the page. And a gentle reminder now for you to send in your pledges for the next fiscal year to stewardship.uucd@gmail.com by the end of this week. We invite you to go ahead during this offering song and try out this online option, or write your check and put it in the mail. We receive every gift with gratitude for the giver and the gift, and in hope that we will use all of our resources wisely and well to serve one another and the world. Thank you.
For our offering today, we have a special guest musician. The way that we do that, of course, is virtually. And so my friend Sarah Helen Land, she has a master's degree from Juilliard, prepared this song for us. And so I hope that you will very much enjoy it.
Hi, UUCD. My name is Sarah Helen, and I'm here to sing for your Earth Day service today. I have so much love and admiration for Karma that any congregation of hers feels like a congregation of mine, most particularly you guys. From the little that I've seen of your worship services, I can tell that you truly embody the Unitarian Universalist ideal of using cognition as a spiritual practice. I also know that you take that spiritual practice into the world and give it feet. That some of you get your hands and your bodies dirty to put those hands and bodies where your ideals are by cleaning up the highways. I know that some of you walk heart in heart with people leaving incarceration. That most of you prioritize legal advocacy for economic injustice and inequality, and that pretty much all of you are educating yourselves and each other, and by example, the rest of us, about racism, particularly with regard to Indigenous peoples lately. So for those of us who do these kinds of things, we know that we also have to prioritize recharging our own batteries, refilling our own tanks, which is part of why I chose this piece to sing for you today. Ombra Maifu is from the Handel opera Xerxes. And it refills my tank like hardly any other pieces of music in the world do. So that's my hope for you. But it's also beautifully relevant in that the king of Persia, and this is historic, this is not just a story in the opera, the king of Persia, who happened to be the husband of Queen Esther, whose decision to accept and follow her wisdom, arguably, according to some historians, paved the way for the maintenance of many, the longevity of many world religions, who was the leader of the world, again, arguably, of the time. The way that he filled his tank, again, not just in the opera, but historically speaking, the way that he recharged his batteries was to spend time with a tree. And he sings to the tree in this aria in gratitude and in reverence, letting the shade of the tree wash over him and prepare him to go and be the leader that he was. He sings Frondi tenere e belle del mio platano amato, per voi risplenda il fato. So this is Old Italian and nearly impossible, therefore, to translate word for word in a way that is meaningful. But he basically is singing, oh, beautiful fronds, dear, soft, beloved shade, for you the celestial beings shine. Never was there any being on earth more beautiful, more healing than you. I love this piece for Earth Day as well, because in order for trees to persevere and therefore give life to most all the creatures on Earth, they need all of the earth elements: earth, air, water, fire, and ether. Ether being the outer edges of the atmosphere, or if you are so inclined, the psychic or scientific phenomena that work in concert to make all of this possible. Ombra Maifu. Thank you again for having me.
As we pause to intentionally center ourselves this morning, I want to invite you to take part in a simple guided meditation. Settle into your body. If you wish, you may close your eyes and notice what you are feeling. Any places in your body of tension, discomfort, or pain. Direct your energy to relaxing or healing those areas. Now draw your attention to your breathing. Notice that even as you draw your attention to it, it slows down. Take several deep, long, slow breaths in and out. While you're breathing, I invite you to picture in your mind a place in nature where you have enjoyed the earth's beauty. Try to remember every detail of that setting that you can. What do you see? Is it a forest, a mountain, the ocean, a plain, a waterfall, the desert, your backyard, or somewhere else? What do you hear? Is it silent? A trickle or a rush of water? Rain falling? The sound of the wind or birds singing? What other sounds do you notice? What do you feel? What are your bodily sensations as you connect with that place? Can you feel the earth holding you? The breeze on your skin or in your hair? What other sensations do you notice? What do you smell? Dirt? Salt? Rain? Flowers? What other aromas do you notice? What other creatures are present with you? Animals, insects, people? Take one more moment to look all around that place that on earth has brought you joy. Now, once again, draw your attention to your breathing. And in your mind or aloud, in your own environment, express your gratitude. Simply say thank you and elaborate if you wish. Take one more very slow, deep breath. Hold it for a few seconds and then relax everything as you exhale. And as you open your eyes, you may repeat after me if you wish, aloud or in your mind. May the earth be filled with restoration and renewal. May the creatures of earth know freedom and joy. May the ones I hold most dear be assured and comforted by that love and our connection. May those I struggle to understand or have difficulty loving know kindness and peace. May I embrace my own freedom to be, to love, to heal, to live with passion. May we all be at one with the earth and her creatures. Blessed be.
Now that we're all relaxed and comfortable, we're going to have a reading that's especially designed for Earth Day. And it's called An Earth Day Blessing by Gary Kowalski. And since you're all nice and relaxed and happy, it's okay to smile. and laugh a little bit. We give thanks for the earth and its creatures and are grateful from A to Z for alligators, apricots, acorns, and apple trees, for bumblebees, bananas, blueberries, and beagles, coconuts, crawdads, cornfields, and coffee, daisies, elephants, and flying fish, for groundhog, glaciers, and grasslands, hippos, and hazelnuts, icicles, and iguanas, for juniper, jackrabbits, and June bugs, kudzu and kangaroos, lightning bugs, and licorice, for mountains and milkweed and mistletoe, narwhals and nasturtiums, otters and ocelots, for peonies and persimmons and polar bears, quahogs and Queen Anne's lace, for raspberries and roses, salmon and sassafras, tornadoes and tulip wood, urchins and valleys and waterfalls, yaks and yams and yogurt. We are grateful, good earth, not least of all for zinnias, zucchini, and zebra, and for the alphabet of wonderful things that are simple as A, B, C.
I want to share just a brief reflection with you today as we observe the 50th anniversary of Earth Day coming up this Wednesday. The theme for Earth Day this year is Earthrise, the resurrection of the earth. And when I first learned about this theme, I immediately recalled this piece of writing from the author E.B. White, who penned such beloved stories as Charlotte's Web and Stuart Little. And in the particular text that came to mind, it's one of my favorite images of resurrection. He was writing about his observations of his wife, Catherine, near the end of her life, as she was outside planting flower bulbs in the autumn wind. And this is what he wrote. As the years went by and age overtook her, there was something comical in her bedraggled appearance. The small, hunched-over figure, her studied absorption in the implausible notion that there would be yet another spring, oblivious to the ending of her own days, which she knew perfectly well was near at hand. Sitting there with her detailed chart under those dark skies in dying October, calmly plotting the resurrection. Calmly plotting the resurrection. This image of an old woman planting flowers she would likely never see bloom, believing in the resurrection of the earth, moves me more than I can say. It is an image that captures so perfectly what I think it is we're meant to do in response to the crisis affecting Mother Earth. It also reminds me of a poem by W.S. Merwin. I'll just read you the first lines that I find arresting. And he says, "On the last day of the world, I would want to plant a tree." There's something poignant and powerful about this commitment of people to the restoration of the earth in ways that are not for themselves, not motivated by self-interest or personal gain, but because it is right and because it will benefit the children, the artists, and all of the people to come that are only now a notion or a dream. That's the kind of faith in the perseverance of life that I want to have, and that I think matters so much for our world that is too often in short supply of hope. I was watching a movie this past week. It seems like most of us are catching up on a lot of entertainment. I'd been meaning to see Little Women in the theater, but never got around to seeing it, and it was so lovely. And one particular scene caught my attention because it relates to this topic of Earth Day. In the movie, Jo March is sitting on a hillside reading to her sister Beth, who is quite ill. And these are the words she read. "We could never have loved the earth so well if we had had no childhood in it. If it were not the earth where the same flowers come up again every spring that we used to gather with our tiny fingers as we sat lisping on the grass, the same hips and haws on the autumn hedgerows, the same redbreasts that we used to call God's birds because they did no harm to the precious crops. What novelty is worth that sweet monotony where everything is known and loved because it is known? These words by T.S. Eliot were inserted perfectly into the script of the movie. I encourage you to see it if you haven't. And they remind us of this genuine love for the earth, the deep appreciation of the delight and the wonder of creation. And indeed, what novelty is worth more than this earth we know and rely upon so completely? According to the Earth Day Network and the acknowledgement of millions of people who are paying attention, climate change represents the biggest challenge to the future of humanity and the life support systems that make our world habitable. And it was 50 years ago that a movement began here as 20 million Americans, which was 10% of our population at the time, rose up and came together to protest environmental ignorance and to raise awareness about the damage being done to the planet by oil companies and others contributing to the dramatic increase in the pollution of our atmosphere, our water sources, and nearly every other aspect of the ecosystem on which we depend. On April 22nd, 1970, those people demanded that we find a new way forward. And these 50 years later, that issue of climate action is more relevant than ever. There can be no doubt what the future of our planet will be if we do not change our habits and work together to act in new ways. It's a dire prediction, and it is tragically frightening to consider what we will leave behind for our children and grandchildren unless we make considerable changes. And just in case we didn't think we were responsible for the current state of the earth and its sickness, and just in case we didn't think we could make a real difference by changing our behaviors, we now have proof. Consider what is happening right now when so many people in the world are on lockdown. I'm sure that you have seen many accounts in the news, signs that the earth is healing herself. As factories are shut down, cars are off the road, flights are canceled, we can immediately see the difference that makes. People in India are able to see the Himalayas for the first time in decades right now from 100 miles away because of the reduction in air pollution. Venice's Grand Canal is now running strikingly clean in comparison with how it was short months ago. In Seattle, New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, and Atlanta, the perpetual fog of pollution has lifted in ways noticeable to the naked eye. So what will we do with this knowledge that what we thought was true really is? Will we learn enough from this that our behaviors are changed? It is still true that people have power. And now more than ever, we know that our small actions to conserve resources, to recycle, to make smarter choices in sustaining our lives with environmentally responsible products, and hear me now, to vote for politicians and leaders who pay attention to science and who make a commitment to our planet, all of those things can make a difference. So I pray that we do not go back to any kind of normal after this pandemic, not any kind of normal that considers it more important to pad the pockets of the ultra-rich at the expense of the earth or the well-being of all her people. The movement that began 50 years ago and continues to mobilize people all over the world for climate action needs us now. May we respond with passion and with power. Our closing song this morning, and I again invite you to sing along loudly in your own environment, is the well-known What a Wonderful World by Louis Armstrong. So let me just cue that up here and let us sing together.
see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry. I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll never know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Ooh, yeah.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, and the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
For our closing words, this blessing: love our earth. Take action to consume less. Use less energy. Respect water. And be cooperative, collaborative, and creative community like the moss and the mushrooms. Our children's lives depend on us. And so now our virtual worship has ended, but our connection to one another and the earth endures. Go blessed to be a blessing for others. Amen. Ashe. May it be so.